Hello, this is a critique of an online adventurous video game called Creativerse. Creativerse is free to download from the Steam website. It is a first player game. It can be played either in single player mode or multiplayer mode. In this game, the player is spawned at a random spot of a mysterious world, and he has to strategize his movement in order to make progress in the game. Each player has been given one teleport during the game. The player can place their, their teleport in their favorite spot. So when they, for example, die and they want to return to the game, they will be spawned by their teleport, not on a random spot. Or also they can invite their friend in their world, so their friend can choose to be spawned next to the teleport rather than a random place in the world. Okay, so here I am in my world. As you see, I am placed next to my telecom rather than being spawned someplace randomly. I can walk through the environment using WASD. Jump is with a space, run is holding shift, and ASDW. Uh, okay, and right now I'm in the digging mode, meaning that if I see things getting highlighted when the cursor targets moved on them, it means that that stuff is collectible, so I can left click and collect those. So I can collect the screen boxes, I can collect basically anything. It feels like everything is in here. Most of them are collectible and they can be used in uh, later. So here is another object. I would like to interact with this. I hold F and it will give me all of these resources. I can either select one or I can take them all. On the middle top of the screen there is compass, which will show me which way I am heading to. On the right top is the virtual time of the day. So in this virtual world, actually time is important. We have a daytime, we have evening time, we have nighttime. During the nighttime, there are creatures coming at the player and will hurt them. Whereas during the day, there is no creature coming at the player unless the player goes and attack them. For example, in here, so you see this peak, it doesn't hurt you, but if you go to the fighter mode, which is hitting tab key and having your weapon, if you go and start hitting the pixie, it will come at you to hurt you. And if you're able to kill the pixie, you will get a bag of resources. So to interact with that, again, hit F, you will collect that. So I would say all of these eye sticks of the game, the time, the virtual time in the game, also being able to kill animals and collect rewards. After that, all of them are part of the narration of the game, but I would say the most focus of the game is on gameplay and core and secondary mechanic of the game. The yellow bar is a stamina bar. This stamina bar, as you start running, gets empty, and then when you let go of the shift, it will return to its full position. The below bar is health bar, which is pretty much close to zero right now. I can regenerate health, which is the secondary mechanic of this game, by scrolling through my resources. And I know the red mushroom is um, going to add to the health bar, but as you see, there is a delay uh, which takes the mushroom but applies the health gradually. So did you see, the pig doesn't hurt you unless you start fighting. So I'm gonna put my fighting device back. So the bar underneath has the material that or resources that I have collected so far, but there are more of them because in this bar there is only 12 spots available to place resources. If you want to see all of your resources, go to inventory tab by tapping holding E key on the keyboard, by pressing E key on the keyboard, and you see all of the resources you have here in the bag. So you can actually rearrange them by drag dropping them, but something to keep in mind is that when the player dies, the bag section will restart and goes to empty. So it's really important to manage a good balance between the bag and the hotbar in your game, which requires to actually having a good strategy to not to lose all of your important stuff because they are in your bag. So I would like to do a quick introduce of craft. So craft tab has advanced resources. They has to be unlocked in order to get them unlocked. There are some required resources that need to be collected, and if all the conditions are met, it can be unlocked. And since we are here, I would like to just talk about the economic system a little bit more. So I feel that based on what I've played so far, I realized that the game has both abstract and concrete resources. By abstract resources, I mean a strategic decision that the player has to make in order to manage resources, solve puzzles, fight beasts, and so on. There are also concrete resources, such as all these resources that we see in the craft, or we see uh, in bag tab, or we see in the hotbar. So all of them are, or even the health or a stamina bar, they're all resources we see here. Even all of these material and everything that we see in the environment, they're all resources. They're all concrete resources, and in order to manage the economic system of the game, uh, I have seen application of four secondary mechanics. Source mechanic, which will generate all of this material and resources in the environment for free. The next one is decay mechanic, which is being applied to players' health resource. So players' health is damaged by creatures in the game, but health being regenerated by utilizing red mushroom. Another secondary mechanic is the converter mechanic. So in craft tab, the higher level resources are sort of being unlocked by converting basic materials. And another mechanic being applied is a drain mechanic, which is being applied to a stamina bar. So when player starts to run, stamina bar gets reduced, and when the shift key is released, it goes to its um, full position. And regarding to the reward system of the game, I realized that there are two reward systems. One is fixed ratio and the other one is variable ratio reward system. By that I mean, for example, if you want to collect this basic box of grass, the number of action required in here is 3 actions. So one is going close enough to the resource, then locating your cursor on the object, and then left click, and that's all it takes, and you get your resources. But there are other resources, such as collecting the reward after killing the pig. So in this case, first of all, you need to find the pixie, and it really is unknown how many action is required until you find this pixie. Or in the inventory section, when you want to convert the basic resources to more high level resources, here it's the number of actions required to obtain all of those conditions are unknown. That's why it's the reward system in this case is variable ratio reward system. There is a level of uncertainty in this game, because first of all, during the night when everywhere is dark, you don't know from where but creatures coming at the player to hurt them. So this one type of uncertainty, but actually it's mostly mm, risk happening here rather than just pure uncertainty, because the player is aware of the outcome of the action of the creatures. It's not very obvious what is the result of this action. So I would say the type of uncertainty in here is mostly taking risk. And in general, if I want to summarize all the core mechanics and secondary mechanics, I would say the core mechanic of the game is set collection, exploration, building, and puzzle solving. And the secondary and basically most of the secondary mechanics are here to enrich the game and also improve the core mechanic of the game. Few examples of secondary mechanics would be crafting new material out of obtained material, which happens in the craft tab in here. The other one would be managing resources, like how you are going to decide to convert the resources. The other one would be surviving when you are attacked by a creature. So how do you survive? You basically have to use the secondary core mechanic of going to the fighter mode and sort of defend yourself. Oh, basically I'm dead because I was talking and playing, but see, I'm again spawned at my teleport in here. And another secondary mechanic would be health regeneration uh, using mushrooms. In general, I enjoyed playing the game. It has a really nice design, and the mechanic of the game is really amusing. So I think I'm gonna go back and play the game more and complete my world. Thank you for listening to my critic.